Better Together podcast.
Welcome to the Better Together podcast from the Fuquay-Varina Chamber of Commerce. We are recording today from the Dashmore Conference Room and Studio, sponsored by Rescued Wood Rehab. The Better Together podcast highlights local businesses each week as the Fuquay-Varina Chamber of Commerce continues to promote an amazing business community. I'm Brad Marshall from Greater Culture CrossFit here in Fuquay-Varina, and I'm joined by my co-host, Marty Woodward from Rescued Wood Rehab. Marty, how are you?
Brad, I am doing fantastic. I'm having an exciting day. Are you having an exciting day?
So far, it's been fantastic.
It's the holiday season. Everybody's getting engaged, and we're really excited to have our next guest here. We've got Christy Famolare from the Fuquay-Varina Downtown Association joining us today. Christy, how the heck are you?
I'm good.
Excellent. So tell us about the Fuquay-Varina Downtown Association. What's it all about?
Sure. So the Fuquay-Varina Downtown Association is really a nonprofit organization, and we're here to support downtown. Our main goal is to make downtown vibrant. We want to make sure that it's sustainable, that it's vibrant, that people are coming downtown, and that people really enjoy their downtown, that's what people love about Fuquay-Varina.
And we are a dash more because we not only have one downtown, but we have two.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So what inspired you to get involved with the Fuquay-Varina Downtown Association?
So I am, at my core values, definitely building community. And I saw this position. It was actually, I am a town employee. I am the downtown development manager for the town of Fuquay-Varina. I saw a position come available with them for this, and it just really excited me because it was building those community and building community with those downtown businesses, and this was something that I found engaging. And so on top of that came the position of executive director of the Fuquay-Varina Downtown Association. So I kind of hold two roles, and it's neat because you can divide those two roles in two, in that the downtown development manager really works on the economic vitality. How do we get these buildings filled? How do we get, make sure that our infrastructure is strong? How do we create a sustainable downtown area? And the Downtown Association is really the fun part. It's the how do we build civic pride? How do we keep people from going to Holly Springs? How do we make them come downtown and make downtown fun and make it so that build that civic pride? And so we do multiple events throughout the year, and we have multiple initiatives both for the downtown business owners as well as for people coming downtown.
So as you got going with the multiple roles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were there some challenges that you faced when you kind of, dove into that pool?
It was like drinking from a water hose. It really was. It's just so much going on, so much getting. I've been in this position for about a year and a half now, a little over a year and a half, and it was just so much. But I really got in there, dug in, and figured things out. And a lot of the challenges was just getting to know everybody. I didn't know everybody. Boots on the street sort of thing, started talking to business owners, started getting everybody. I have a board of 14 for the Downtown Association, and those are 14 volunteers, and they're 14 residents of Fuquay-Varina. So those 14 people that I automatically knew, that supported me, that said, hey, let me introduce you to so-and-so, let me do this, let me do that, and help you out. So that gave me that support, as well as I had the support of the town. So, a lot of things that the town does that people don't see, all that solid waste, sanitation, all the trash, all of the, let's put up barricades, let's put up this. I got that support from the town because I was a town employee. So when we do things like Barbecue Blues and Brews, which was last November, we had the help of Solid Waste Services. They came out with trash buckets, and they made sure that there was no trash left in Varina parking lot. They came out and they did barricades for us. They came out and put no parking signs up for us. We had the fire department come out, and they supported us throughout the whole night because we had cook teams out there. So it's really been developing those relationships, and that not only with the town, but with the residents of the town and with the small businesses of the town to make all of that happen.
And I would think that firefighters and barbecue kind of go together. right? Yeah.
I
So
would imagine.
Sure
yeah, I'm pretty
It sure does.
I'm pretty confident on
samples
that
here
one.
and
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, just in case you want me to
Quality
taste a little bit.
assurance.
Yeah, quality assurance. So, what are some unique aspects to the Fuquay-Varina Downtown Association? What would differentiate this downtown association versus maybe what you might find in some other towns here in North Carolina?
Sure. So one of the things that Fuquay-Varina is, we are a Main Street program, and it's a Main Street program of North Carolina. So there are small towns that are under 50,000, and they are part of a program called Main Streets of America. And it really is a blueprint on how to create economic vitality within your small towns. Back in the 70s, 80s, when everybody was leaving the downtowns, all the downtowns became deteriorated, all the downtowns became boarded up, and nobody would come there. Well, Fuquay was the same. It was not a very nice place to be. And in the 90s, people decided to come and change that. And so they started building and revitalizing downtown. Well, they got involved with Main Streets, and Main Streets was really that blueprint to say, this is how you revitalize it, and this is how you make it sustainable. And that was for businesses, for towns up to 50,000. Now we're almost there. And we really are at that end. All of our buildings are filled. We are at the point where we need to build to be able to grow. Our buildings are rehabilitated. Our buildings or they're being torn down because they can't be rehabilitated. So we are really at that point where we have made it. We have done the plan, and it has worked.
We're encouraging new development always happening in this area, and if you've been around Fuquay-Varina for any amount of time, it's growing like crazy.
It is. And as part of that, the town has worked to build a generational plan. And the generational plan, and I joke about it that it's going to take generations to do, because it is that 20 to 40 year plans, but it is a specific plan to look at downtown and say, what do we want downtown to look like? And we took opinions from the town. We took opinions from residents. We held public meetings. What do you want this to look like? So that plan was developed, and it was passed by council last year. And it's really, again, it's just a blueprint of how do we want the future to look. And so there is development within there, but it is also controlled development. We hear all the time, we want it to stay a small town. We want it to stay a small town. With 50,000 plus growing, it's not going to stay a small town, but how can we keep that small town feel? So, you're going to see buildings that are brick instead of steel and glass. You're going to see buildings that are going to reflect the small town look versus really that big city feel.
And one of the things that I find really fascinating too with the Downtown Association being a nonprofit is that you're really funded by support from the businesses in the downtown through events and through a variety of other means. Can you speak a little bit about the businesses who decide to partner with you and want to be involved with the Downtown Association, what that looks like, and what are some of the benefits that they might derive from working with you and the Downtown Association?
Sure. So the Downtown Association is 100% funded. It's a nonprofit. It is funded through donations and through fundraisers that we do. Barbecue Blues and Brews was a fundraiser. And it was a great turnout. It was a wonderful day. So that was great. But our small businesses, they're the ones who really support us, and they're the ones who make things like our events happen and make them even better. If we go to a small business and we say, hey, we need a gift card for this, or hey, we need a gift card for that, they're always so generous in helping us do that. Most of our small businesses have supported us in volunteering or sent out their staff for volunteering, or even our trick or treat and our candy hop events that we do. That is all retail based, as well as our First Friday is a retail based initiative, which means that those are the small businesses coming up with those ideas. We're just kind of that conduit of coordinating all of that. So all the small businesses come up with their own ideas of what are we going to do for a First Friday. And if you don't know what First Fridays are, they are every first Friday of the month from 5 to 9.
I was thinking, is that what date does that fall?
Right, I can kind of make sense. But from 5 to 9, we have different things going on downtown. During the Barbecue Blues and Brews in November, we did line dancing. In October, we had a night market. September, we had music over in the Vance Street lot. So every month, we do something different. And then also the businesses come in. They might stay late. There might be sales. There might be a band coming in. It's always up to the businesses, but it's business driven, and we just helping to coordinate that. And that we love that, because that really means that they've bought into this initiative.
Yeah, I love having a lot of those templates and different events and things that businesses can do to piggyback on and say, hey, we're going to have a lot of people walking up and down these streets. Let's take advantage of that, get our name out there. And so you're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I know right before we jumped on the podcast, you mentioned how much you really enjoy the events, and that's
I
something
do.
that you're passionate about. So can you talk to us a little bit about what you've learned over the last year and a half of planning these events and trying to organize and put people in front of these small businesses, and how that's been going for you?
Sure. I've been doing events for 20 plus years, so it is one of the things that I do enjoy. I might be getting a little old though, for it, but these events, one of our main goals is to drive people downtown, to bring people downtown. We want them to spend money in the businesses. What we find is when we do an event, it drives people downtown to our event, but they don't just come to our event. They then go get ice cream at Pints, or they go and get coffee at Stick Boy, or they go somewhere else and they shop downtown, or they eat downtown, or they do something like that. And so that's really beneficial to the town. So it's almost like it's a mutually beneficial. It's a fundraiser for us. Usually the events are usually a fundraiser for us, but then it works to draw people downtown, and it works to support our small businesses. So that's what I really like about it, that it's always mutually beneficial. And then it's beneficial for everyone. The residents get something to do. The businesses get, people in their buildings. We get a fundraiser out of it, and it's just a day for the community. And it really builds that civic pride for everyone, as to let's come downtown, let's spend time in our town instead of having to travel 30 minutes to Raleigh, instead of having to travel outside to find something to do.
Yeah, and I know it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort and logistics to get these things off the ground. I can tell by the smile on your face, though. There's a lot of pride and joy you take in seeing the smiles on the faces, people frequenting those areas and shopping locally.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of logistics, but we make it happen, and we have teams to make it happen, and a lot of the volunteers. And we're always looking for volunteers to help us with events.
Yep.
So call out for any volunteers that want to come and help us. Whether you want to sit on a committee, we have committees that help with events, committees that help with public art. We do public art as well. And then we do day of events volunteer help that we are always looking for, and that's a great way. That's a great way for many things. I always advocate for volunteering for many different reasons that people don't really even think about. There's high school students, yes, of course, they need their hours, but if you're new in town, and there are so many people that are new in town here, it is a great way to get to know people, and get to know people with authenticity, without having to force that relationship. Let me come and help. Let me meet you doing this, and we'll build that relationship. And so it really is a great. If you're new to town, please come and volunteer, because it's a great way to meet your community.
Yeah, and having been in this role for a little over a year and a half now, and I think there's certainly those staple events and premier events that you have. As you think about 2026, are there things that you're excited about, or maybe some new things, or some other ways that you're trying to get involved in the community, or maybe new projects you're excited to bring?
Well, I know that, before we get to 2026, we're finishing out the year with our Trees on Broad initiative. For those that have not heard of it yet, it is an initiative where, families and organizations could have purchased a tree to decorate. It is a competition, and then it is voted on. Voting is still going on. So if you're out on Broad Street and you see a tree that you really think is decorated well, please vote for it. The winner of that will be announced by January 5th. And the winners will be able to donate $300 to their favorite charity. So that is how we're doing that. So please, there's still voting going on for that. And then for 2026, we're really looking to revamp some of our older events, because you get events that go on for a long period of time. They either die, or you have to revamp them, or they just get boring. So we're looking to revamp it. And then last year we did a survey. We did a community survey with over 3,000 surveys sent out about what type of events would you like to see. And so one of the big events that everybody, 82% that came back to the survey, said, we want a block party. So we're trying to figure out the details of a block party.
Sign me up. I'd be there.
Yeah,
that.
sure.
That
why
sounds
not?
fantastic.
I mean, let's
You
block
know,
let's
You don't
block
need to give
something
me
off.
that many excuses to get
No,
out
yeah,
downtown.
Yeah.
we'll show up.
Yeah.
We'll be there. We'll be
Absolutely.
there. Christy, so being in this role and leading the Fuquay-Varina Downtown Association, have there been some lessons that you've learned? Anything that you would go, oh yeah, I learned from this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, at events you always have things that go wrong. When you come into any position, you always take a review of what's going on. One of the things that we reviewed, my team and I reviewed this year, was what was all our software. What does it look like? And so one of the things that I learned is not new to nonprofits. It's not new, but it is you have to meet the people where they're at. And so one thing that's very common about nonprofits is for donations and for sponsorships and for to become a friend of, and we do have a friend of position for FVDA. People like to pay by checks. They like that paper trail. And so we went and we were looking at our software, and we said, okay, we need to update our software. It's old, it's kind of convoluted, let's change this. And we had a difficult time finding software that was going to accept checks. Everybody we can accept Venmo, look, we accept PayPal, look, we accept this. They were so excited about all the new mechanisms in which they accept things. But it's really about meeting people where they're at. We are still in the check system, and that's okay. I will accept money in any way we can take it.
However you want to pay. Yeah.
However you want to pay, we are going to accept it. And we do have systems that take Apple Pay. But we found systems also that is going to accept a check as well. So that is what we ended up doing, is changing our systems to be able to accept checks as well as to Apple Pay. And so it was really that balance of how do we meet people where they're at.
So Christy, if you could share any advice with someone who maybe wants to get into economic development or programs such as Main Street Programs or Fuquay-Varina Downtown Association, what advice would you offer to someone who maybe wants to grow up and be like you?
That's a difficult one because there's so many avenues to take.
Sure. Yeah. Is there a starting point?
So, I mean, I come from a Parks and Rec background.
Yeah.
And it really is, I wanted to have that social development with the kids. Like you have the academic, you have your parental unit, and then you have your social unit. I wanted to have that positive influence with that social unit. And then it kind of morphed into, well, I can help the community. And then it was like, so it's really about having that drive to help your community. If you want to see your community thrive, that's where your drive is. And when it comes to economic development, it can be about numbers. It can be about all the big businesses and industry and everything like that. But it can be as little as, how do you bring people to buy an ice cream in the ice cream, at the ice cream stand.
Yeah, and that makes a huge difference for those little businesses, whether you're selling that trinket or you're selling that ice cream.
Yeah.
Certainly makes it a big thing. So anything you can think of that you would aspire the Downtown Association to be like, maybe 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road? What's your vision for that?
Sure. So funny enough, one of the things that a mentor told me years ago is that as a nonprofit, what your goal is to not exist anymore. And the reason is a nonprofit is created to solve a problem. So once you've solved that problem, you should be able to not be around anymore.
Or I guess you're have to go find another problem.
Yes, which is exactly what United Way did. If anybody knows the history of United Way, they found another problem, which is great, because they were so strong. So I would really love to see us be so sustainable that we are really change our mission and our vision into something else, so that we are not having to work on bringing people downtown. How do we work on it? It's more of a how do we sustain people downtown? How do we keep people downtown? How do we, so that we're more in the flow of just maintaining versus building.
Yeah, and I think that's fantastic, especially as the town continues to grow. More people move to the area, more people flocking to those downtown areas is fantastic. And I know you mentioned too that it's very easy for you to be able to just walk out and visit all the different businesses downtown. Yes. We love asking our guests what some of their favorite spots are, and this one might be specifically tough for you, knowing your connections.
I'm not allowed to answer
plead
that.
the fifth on that one. Yes. So we'll give a pass to that one in terms of what some of your favorite spots are. But anything that over the last year and a half you'd say that you found to be maybe surprising, that when you stepped into the role maybe didn't expect, and now all of a sudden since you've been in the role you're like, oh wow, I guess I didn't realize that, or maybe now I have a better understanding of it. It's something that maybe surprised you about being in this role for the last year and a half.
I think just how walkable Fuquay-Varina was, and downtown Fuquay-Varina was. I mean, I had been here. I had been here a couple of times. Even walking from Fuquay to Varina, people are like, "Oh, we don't do that." Oh. But it's possible, and it's you can do it, and it's a 15-minute walk. That's not far at all. And I encourage people to do it, if they can. Just finding that it is incredibly walkable.
Yeah, and I think we get a good chunk of the year is nice weather here, beautiful opportunity to get outside, walk around, and so many great events that the Downtown Association runs to help to promote that as well. And so for folks who are maybe interested to learn a little bit more about the Downtown Association, maybe become a friend of the Downtown Association or support in any way, what are some of the best ways that people can reach out to get in touch with you?
Sure. So definitely go on our website. There's ways you can become a friend. We have all levels of membership to become a friend. You can volunteer. You can find out more. You can find out about our events and how to get involved in our events, how to buy tickets for our events. Everything's on the website. So Fuquay-Varina Downtown Association, just look it up. It's on the website. You can do that. And we are right on Raleigh Street. If you know where El Cantorito is on Raleigh Street, we are right across the street from there. Our window says we love downtown Fuquay-Varina.
Yep.
We are there, not all the time because we are often in the community, but if we're there, come on in and say hi. We got big windows. You can look in. We're a fishbowl. You can look in and knock on the window and say hi, and we're more than happy to talk to y'all.
Yeah. So, Christy, you obviously the Fuquay-Varina Downtown Association and the Chamber of Commerce, Fuquay-Varina Chamber of Commerce, the collaboration that happens between the two organizations is tremendous. Mm-hmm. Can you share with us some some of the ways that we've collaborated, right? And people don't even realize it. Yeah. The collaboration is going on all the time. And I think Launch Fuquay-Varina is one of those. Yep. And can you share some of those?
So first of all, we should probably clear up something. So FVDA. I am Christy. I am the executive director, and then there's Justin, who is the assistant director with me.
Right.
Here, there is Dustin for the Chamber of Commerce, and there is Christy, who is his membership coordinator. So it has been confusing to everybody. Everybody just knows Christy and Dustin, maybe Justin sometimes. We swear we're going to do it.
Pick a name. Pick a name. It doesn't really matter. Call them whatever you want. Yeah. But and I think encourage our local businesses, our local residents. Get involved with both, right? Because we there's so much crossover and yes. it's important for both.
Yeah, and I can't talk enough about it. Justin has been incredibly supportive. We try to support the chamber as much as we can, whether it's through picnic tables for one of their events, or they're sending us people for vendors for our events. I'm sitting here doing a podcast.
The crossover, yeah, the crossover. It's like other businesses promoting other businesses. It's another organization supporting another organization that really has kind of the same goals, as to make Fuquay-Varina, a fantastic place to be.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Christy, any last things you want to share about the Fuquay-Varina Downtown Association?
I just hope that everybody enjoys our events and comes out to them and becomes part of downtown.
Well, Christy, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being a part of our podcast, and look forward to seeing you around Fuquay-Varina.
That sounds good.
And thank you to our listeners. Join us each week on the Better Together podcast from the Fuquay-Varina Chamber of Commerce as we highlight great local businesses, organizations, and nonprofits. And so from the Dashmore Conference Room and Studio, sponsored by Rescued Wood Rehab, I am Brad.
And I am Marty.
And we are
Better Together.
So you'll edit out all those.
We're better together. It's a weekly podcast. We're better together. You should know that there's more in the dash. We're better together. Fuquay-Varina Chamber of Commerce. We're better together podcast.